Thing I've noticed is that if you try to hold back to not hurt feelings of people, when everybody's accepting lie, you ain't gonna get shit done. Okay, I had to fix quantum computing. Quantum computing is based on harsh mathematics. Two and two is four. Blah 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 blah. Here's the math. Make the money. Build the thing. Sell the product. So you have to be like, okay, you show me that ass, I'm gonna kick it. Okay. What's the world's first profession? Selling pussy. And for what? Rocks, right? Can you make love with a rock? No. Can you eat a rock? No. Can you drink a rock? No. You can use rocks to build shelter, because my grandpa's house up in Oregon was built with rocks and concrete. And the building my dad was born in, my grandpa built with rocks and concrete. He bought a lot of others for Mexican families and American families down by the Rio Grande where all the poor people lived before the New Deal or whatever it was, the Great Society. No, Grandma had stories about it all the time. Though the Mexicans and the poor white people, their first couple of years of marriage were good. Okay. She was telling me about it when she broke her hip and I was sitting on the bed and she thought I was her son. I'm so proud of you. You worked so hard. You were so good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. When everything went to shit, I guess, and they ended up in Alamogordo and all that stuff because everything started getting horrible, was when they did the New Deal thing and the poor people went to war with each other over things the government was doling out. Living on free food tickets, right? And the Mexicans started stealing from the whites and they put up things in the border and started controlling the border and all that. Before the government got involved, the poor people were all working together. They all had certain traits. Grandpa was a contractor. He was in the Seabees. And so he was a mason and all that stuff. And so they would all do together. And Grandma talked about it. The Mexican ladies would get together and they would make tortillas and everybody would make stuff and share. They all put in together. Hey, it was like the one guy said about Russia and the United States, if in America, if your neighbor has a cow, you help him out. He has calves, maybe he gives you one, right? In Russia, your neighbor has a cow, you sit and pray for that cow to die, right? And then no one loves my neighbor so-and-so. He has an iPad Nano. Remember that with Borat, with the televangelist preachers in the big old hell house on Borat, right? Like, so they go, oh, God. Does she have the anus like a 7-year-old? Okay. You guys, he's inappropriate. It's like, guys, they had the people in that church and that government people and all that stuff that were on board and stuff, they had to sign off on that. Or you can't use it. He's so inappropriate. He's a pervert. He talks about, I am telling the truth about your pervert taxpayer dollars, your pervert surveillance technology, and all the perverts that head fuck good people to try to look like they're not perverts. God damn, you guys are such fucking assholes. You wouldn't get up to cross the street to save a child from getting raped to death in Juarez because you'd be afraid they would come and try to kill you and your family. Okay? Dad, send us a couple bayonets because I got to fight my friends over the milk. And they used to fight over the milk. They stand back to back. Can you imagine being kids doing that? They went back to El Paso because when they were up in Alamogordo and all the horrible things happened up there and stuff, and he got put in the war. And Jimmy wrote him and said, they're stealing all the milk and the stuff. And Grandpa sent him 2 bayonets, and Ralph and Jimmy, 6 and 8 or whatever, had to stand back to back. People that used to be their friends and wave bayonets at them because they were fighting over the milk. And who knows, maybe mom wasn't getting enough nutrition and their sister needed milk or she'd die. Yeah. Living in America. It's 3,000 years for this peace to come about. I can feel the chemicals in my teeth today. You get that sweet taste. It's horrible. And you get that from you go see the fucking professionals in this fucking town. Oh, well, you need to quit doing drugs and alcohol, Mr. Parsons. That would be great if your military wasn't putting it in my system. Go pay your taxes, asshole. Okay, have a nice day. You gonna vote for president? Okay. How about elect to live the Lord's Prayer? No, I'm a cunnilingus face. I know, shut the fuck up. Get out of my face. I'm about to slap you really hard. Okay. How'd you do it? I just did. It comes out of his mouth. I'm the Lord. Okay. Anybody who goes behind my back and talks shit about me, it's, oh, that guy's crazy. He's a pervert. He's stupid. He's an egomaniac. He thinks he's brilliant. He thinks he's Carl Jung. I don't think I'm Carl Jung. Carl Jung has an ego problem. Okay. When people get together in a building with a bunch of other people and they become an authority, a PhD, a doctor, and then they talk about how brilliant they are and how stupid other people are, it's like, well, have you forgiven debt and trespass and loved ones in all faithful peace? Why is he putting the limit on his face? Why does he think he needs the money? King Solomon, could you help us? Why didn't Dunning and Kruger talk about that? Was it Kroger? No, it's Kruger. Oh. Did Kruger invent the Luger? No. Luger invented Luger. No, well, I don't know. Who cares? Why did they need the money, and why was he putting the lemon on his face? I mean, you can use lemon stuff on your face, lemon scrub. I used to have, they don't have it no more. And it helped clean my skin. But the thing about it is, I'm like going, is that stuff helping or is it hurting? I don't know. I used it and then I didn't, and it got better, and then it started getting oily. Maybe it's the crap coming out. I don't know. I don't like depending on chemicals. Yeah. I do everything as natural as I possibly can. You know, I wish if I had money, I could afford better salts to soak in. But if I had money, I would be in San Luis Obispo soaking in the ocean. Yeah. Eureka! Or Eureka, yeah. Oh, I like Eureka. It's one of the prettiest places I've ever been. You ever been to Eureka, California? I like San Luis Obispo. I think I like Eureka better. Well, my parents are from Britain and Germany and stuff, so I don't mind it if it's cool, Oh, Eureka, California is one of the prettiest places on the planet, I think. Anybody else? No? You ever been up to Eureka? Humboldt State University? Go Lumberjacks, yeah. That's one place I've always considered going and settling down. You got Redwood Forest and you got the ocean. I mean, don't get much better than that. I also love Redding, California. I love the Redding area coming in down through there and stuff like that. It's pretty. Okay. Jefferson. Yeah, I like Jefferson. I'm particularly fond of Jefferson. Yes, I like Medford. I've never been to Ashland, but I like Medford, Oregon, and I like that area. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Oregon's pretty. Astoria. I didn't meet a girl, just looked at one of the prettiest little black girls I ever saw around my age was in Astoria, Oregon, which I didn't expect. I'm like, I thought Oregon was full of white people that like, Bobby Gross, Dave Torczyk, and Bill Walton. That's all I ever see at the crowd in the basketball games, right? Any black people? No, that's just Johnny. That's just Lionel Hollins' wife. She came from Phoenix. Okay, I'm just kidding around. No, it was hard with black folks too. And Rocky, that's how we met. We had more stuff for black culture in El Paso and Las Cruces than they had in Phoenix when I was a kid in the 80s. And Rocky's like, there's nothing for black culture. There's not a dynamic for it. There's only like 20-30% black. So there's just not enough money in it, so they won't do it. Okay. I don't think they give a shit about Mexicans in Arizona, in El Paso, which is New Mexico. The Mexicans, that's the whole market is Mexican, and Mexicans love lowrider oldies, so they like black music. Right? And so, I had a choice and I chose wrong. I made a promise, girl, to leave it alone. It's not just Sonny Osuna and the Sunlighters and Talk to Me and the Midnighters and El Chicano, and it wasn't all that. They were also the equal opportunity. If the music's good, we're listening to it. All right. And the stylistics, yeah. There's a spark of magic in your eye. Candyland appears each time you smile. Suarez, he's from Riverside, but blue magic, blue magic, blue magic, blue magic. Step right up, hurry, hurry. Before the show begins, my friends. It's hard to try to sing like that. It hurts. It physically hurts. And it sounds terrible. I know. But I'm trying. I can't do him. He's so good. Oh, he has such a beautiful voice. My mom just adored those guys. They were so sweet and so good. Oh, they were wonderful. She went out and bought their tape that day. She just thought they were the nicest young men. They were so kind and sweet and polite. She just adored him. She was just this huge fan of Blue Magic after that. That's when I started. I only stop so we can start all over again. 'Cause I love you, baby. Right. And spell. Must have put a spell on my mind. And life is a three-ring circus. All of the ups and downs of a carousel that I know so well. You know, and all the songs that weren't on the radio. Because black culture. If you lived in Philly, you probably heard a lot of these songs, you know, growing up. But growing up in New Mexico, we had to hear the big hits because it was the market. And so we didn't, but if you, lowriders, you did hear stuff. You did hear stuff that wasn't on the radio here. When you put your hand in mine, girl, you make me feel so fine. Oh, when you make sweet love to me, girl, you send me out of this world, right? And so there was a lot of stuff that wasn't on the radio, but the Mexicans were listening to it because it was, you know, it was hip. It was on the Jerry Butler show. It was on that was shown on the East Coast, but not in not on our time zone, right? And so me and Rocky talked about she's just devoid of anything for black culture. I said, yeah, I understand. So there's a few things. So I said, well, I could show you around and see if there's things we could do that you would enjoy or whatever and stuff like that. It was fun. But we went around the first date, and I remember that we're getting ready to go home. I was driving her home, and this was a lot of fun. You're really nice, and you better go buy condoms. Whoa. Damn, I really like you. Okay. Wow. We need more women like you. Okay. We young men, okay? We young college men. Just wondering. You go out and she initiates the conversation. She talks about things. She figures charisma with you. You go out on a date. You're nice. You're polite. Everything she tells you, you need to go buy condoms on. Damn, this is great. Where was she my whole life? What the hell is wrong with these people? We need more black culture in America, right? That's how I was. And she lied to me. She didn't tell me. She told me she was a year older than she was. I was 20 and she was 16 in the state of Arizona. That will get you in trouble. That's why I was always real, you know, understanding of the kids in lockup, you know. As me and Gustavo were such good friends. I said, yeah, I understand. I know. I know. Because that's why I told Natalie about that. What was his name? Real cute kid. Like Patrick. Dominic? Yeah. And I said, and I told him, no, she was 13. She learned how to lie, not just from her mom. Her mom learned how to do it from the government, from the Temple of Set Illuminati. They trained her. They program people like they're programming a video game. But they can't get them to do anything they don't want to do. I want to have sex with Tina Turner. No, yeah, I really want to have sex with Tina Turner. Okay, do you understand? We were young. We were talking about that. Buddy's on the ground, and this lady comes in, and we're like, oh, gosh, I'm sitting there. Oh, we're so sorry. I'm so sorry. She goes, no, that's wonderful to see that young, attractive men your age are, you know, that way about women my age. And after she left, Buddy goes, we weren't, no, not you, honey. And I'm like, that's just mean, Buddy. She was nice. Now you're going to hurt her feelings. You need to read some Benjamin Franklin. Okay? Seriously. Okay. She was nice. You screwed that up. Fez. No, I'm not a Fez. I just understand people. I appreciate them. And I love them. And stuff. And I'm intelligent. I know appropriate and what's inappropriate. Okay, it's inappropriate to abuse people with money and technology and tell them it's reality. It's appropriate to respect people and then help them understand reality and respect one another, and then they can truly love and be loved. Okay, assholes, if you take my videos personal, good! Stand up for the Lord's Prayer. I'm going to kick you in the dick or the vajayjay again later. Okay. Money ain't real, you egotistical fucking manipulative bitch. Okay. Love you.